The year 1912, a great year for business in British Columbia, particularly for the city of Vancouver. It was a great year for the mining community, made even better by the formation of the Vancouver Mining Club. Many location and name changes later, it is known today as the Association for Mineral Exploration, British Columbia.
The province has always been a mining jurisdiction, right from its initial development related to the gold rush. In the early 1900s, more mineral deposits were being found and developed, and there were a lot of people becoming interested in the industry. So a group of people wanted to get together to exchange information, ideas, let the public know about the opportunities that were available in mining. They got together, and apparently the very first meeting was chaired by the mayor of Vancouver. It was a few people. In the early days, they were always kind of scraping together enough money to pay for an office to actually support the activities that they were doing.
The chamber was, you might say, inaugurated on April the 23rd, 1912. Robert R. Hedley was named the president. At that time, it was called the Vancouver Chamber of Mines.
I think it wasn't a lot different in some respects than it is now. It was a group of people who were interested in the industry and interested in the sector, getting together and going, how can we make things better for all of us?
People in those years smoked a lot, and I could see this small room cluttered around this table and a blue haze of smoke.
I think there was a lot of guys sitting around smoking cigars after a nice steak.
The success from prospecting and then mine development really led to moving the economy of a province and a nation ahead, and BC was at the forefront. It led to the establishment of many, if not most, of the towns that are currently in existence in British Columbia.
Some really smart group got together and decided that it would be great if they purchased a building way back in, I don't know, I think it's the early 60s for the organization.
The chamber bought the building at 840 West Hastings, and Tom organized a fundraising group to pay off the mortgage in 1965, which was a super achievement because by virtue of owning the building, they got it at relatively low real estate prices. But what this did, when the time came to sell the building not too many years ago, it provided a legacy fund, which is still there.
In '82, in particular, 15 international, multinational mining companies closed their offices in Vancouver.
Up until that time, most of the membership had been large companies who paid a pretty handsome fee to be annual members of the association, and this was the principal source of revenue. The industry was changing at that time, and it was changing a lot.
There was a very large number of well-trained, talented geologists who found themselves suddenly out of work. At the same time, there were some changes being made in the Vancouver Stock Exchange, and the net result was that the junior mining companies were being formed at a great rate, and they were taking the place of the former major companies.
We needed to find a source of revenue, and Jack Patterson came up with the idea for Roundup, the annual meeting, and that's what it was all about. We needed to do something, and we needed to do it quickly to find another source of revenue, and this worked.
The first Roundup was held in 1984.
Those two things, Roundup and the building sale, really provided the organization with the financial wherewithal to actually do the kind of advocacy work that is a major part of what the organization does.
A great achievement AMBC has had in the past is training for First Nations and Aboriginal people. BCIT and AMBC initiated a proposal to develop an Aboriginal training organization to help bring more First Nations people into the industry.
There seems to have been a trend after helicopters came in that in essence sidelined the First Nations, especially in remote northern communities. And so there became a disassociation with the mining industry. We moved from being fully involved to almost not involved to now back involved. The BC Aboriginal Mine Training Association That was a dream of some of the people sitting there, that Aboriginal people should be trained.
The speaker series is also a great way for those in the industry to have varied opinions shared amongst those of us who are involved in the industry, and also try and impact on those who are decision makers.
One of the things that AMBC did was put together a guidebook on relationships with First Nations people. That was one of the shining lights as well.
We honor the achievements, the milestones and challenges of the past, and now we take pride in the present.
One of the greatest accomplishments for AMBC is that it's here 100 years later, and probably stronger today than it's been over its full 100 years.
Myself and probably many in the industry have to support the Roundup. When you look at how that's evolved over the last 20-odd years of going from many hundreds of people who have been in the industry to literally thousands, it's now an international event, and bringing people from all across the world both to the opportunities which are here, but allow us to see how AMBC has been able to involve and engage various stakeholders.
It's developed into a world-class technical exploration event. It's known like that. It's different than other major international events.
I love Roundup. It's grown so much. When I first was involved with Roundup, there was about 1,000 people that attended, and of course last year we had over 8,300.
I am so proud of the dedicated staff that we have right now.
AMBC has been really instrumental, as I said, in moving things forward. So I want to tell you what I understand about the Canadian mining industry is they are now the foremost leaders in the world in Aboriginal mining relationships.
If AMBC wasn't around, I think it would make it very difficult and certainly put a much larger cost component to companies being able to do business, because they'd have to do it on a singular basis. And what AMBC does is allow the 2,000-odd companies which are here, many who are involved in British Columbia and exploration in British Columbia, to have someone who is their advocate.
You know, our industry goes through some real ups and downs, and we've had some really low points over the years. But in 100 years, AMBC maintains its strength. It's worked through those ups and downs, and it's at the very least as strong as it has ever been.
In the continuous efforts of becoming better, doing greater things and persevering further, we look toward an amazing and exciting future. We look at the AME BC of tomorrow.
For the next 100 years, I don't know if my crystal ball is large enough to envision what the organization would look like.
I think we can bet the farm on the fact there will be a mineral industry still around, because we need these resources. And I would hope that the association will be doing some of the fundamental things it does today.
I think AMBC in the next 100 years is going to be an exciting time. And to be truthful, I wish I was a young man again. With all the new technology, it's going to be just an incredible, interesting field to be in.
It's really tough to imagine what it would be like 100 years from now, but I suspect there will be more women for sure, because there's more women interested in the sector all the time. It will not be dissimilar to what it is like now, where it's still about connecting, sharing ideas, and coming together and trying to work with government, work with other stakeholders, work with First Nations, work with the general public about why the sector is important and why we should continue doing what we're doing.
We've come a long way, and we've still got a long way to go, but we're on the right track.
In a way, the AMEBC is my exploration family. It really is representative of the industry as it is in BC, and all the passion about that industry.
The camaraderie with my old friends, meeting new friends, and that goes a long ways for me.
We're environmentalists at heart. You know, we love the outdoors and we love the beauty of this province. We need to be able to go out and develop these resources and do them in the most efficient and the most benign way we can to the environment, and want to make sure that AMBC is still that advocate for that 100 years from now.
It all began in 1912, and today it is stronger than ever as it embarks on its next 100 years. The 100th anniversary celebration of the AME BC.